Up next on the podium, we have Tommy Tremble. Once again, please use the raise hand function and we'll get started. We're going to start with Thomas Frank Carr. Go ahead.
Hey, Tommy. Thomas Frank Carr, Cold Front Report. What do you see yourself as? I know you played a lot of different positions. You've lined up in a lot of different places. Do you see yourself personally as a tight end, a fullback, an angry receiver? What do you see yourself as?
Honestly, I see myself as someone who can do really all three of that. You know, a guy who lined up in slot, out wide, as wing, on the line, as fullback. I feel like I'm a guy who really can play all of those positions.
Up next, we'll have Eric Hanson.
Hey, Tommy, can you take us through your decision process to come out early? How difficult or easy was it? And what kind of feedback did you get from NFL folks?
So really, I was focused just on the season throughout the year, playing for my teammates, playing to get to that next step. And unfortunately, it didn't really pan out the way we wanted to. But really, I focused on the support I got from my family, from the coaches as well, and just the chatter I heard around. You know, I met with our coaches about twice before then just to make sure, am I making the best decision for myself? I personally felt ready for it, and I just wanted to make sure that I talked in detail with my coaches about it at the same time. And they were fully supportive of me. They were really great in this process, and I appreciate them for that.
Next, we'll go to Pete Sampson.
Tommy, I was curious what the recruiting pitch from Notre Dame for you to come back was. Whether it be to have more of like a Kyle Pitts type of role, to be more a focal point of the passing game. Like what was sort of their pitch for you to come back?
So, of course, they said they would come if I came back. I'd be in a more receiving role, showing that I could block this year. And, they were being very conscious about other players, about what their position is, but just really offering up to what they thought my needs were. And I really appreciate them for that. They were trying to really cater to me and what my needs were. And really, after talking out with them, they still were supportive of me being able to leave this year and not come back.
Next up, we have Nick Faribault.
Hey, Tommy, you're just such a unique player for the tight end position with kind of how you are with blocking and just how ferocious you are. Like, what guys do you watch and kind of what goes into that process? And also, have you had any contact with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
So, yeah, I would really watch this entire offseason a lot of how George Kittle played his game, the way he attacked not only receiving game but passes, blocking, run schemes, how he just was violent and finished guys to the end of the play. And that was a guy I've watched really all my life and just really tried to emulate the violent side and kind of crazy side that he had for this. And, I did talk to them about 2 weeks ago.
Next, we'll go to Patrick Ingle.
I'm in meeting with teams and doing draft prep for what you hope to show on Wednesday. How much of a selling point has it been with talking about receiving upside and kind of physical tools after so much of this year seemed to showcase what you can do as a blocker?
It was really just me, letting my film kind of speak for itself. I didn't get that many opportunities in the passing game, but I want to show them really this Wednesday how dangerous I really can be. I came here as a receiving tight end and showed that I can do both sides of each of those aspects. And so I'm really excited to really show them how dangerous I can be in the passing game.
Next up, we'll have Dan Wilkenstein.
Hey, Tommy, Dan Wilkenstein from the Broad Network. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hey, I cover the Chargers out here in L.A., and I'm not going to lie, there's a ton of buzz around your name for being a potential fit for the Chargers. I think folks love kind of the mean streak you bring for blocking. So I guess two-part question. One, talk about your potential fit with the Chargers and Justin Herbert and team. And then two, kind of what you think teams are going to see from you at the next level that they might not necessarily realize or have seen at the college tape.
So, I've met with the Chargers before, and they're a really great coaching staff. It was an amazing meeting being with them and, seeing how the Chargers offense is really on the rise with Justin Herbert leading the way. I would be really excited to try to get in that offense, do what I can do on the line, do what I can do out in slot, do everything really all over. And really for that second question, I guess I would say – Wait, what was the second question again? I'm sorry about
Just like
that.
what you would bring to the next level.
Oh, okay. I think from the next level, what I'm going to bring is a guy who's, a complete tight end, a guy who can do it all. Like I said, my biggest strength, I think, is my versatility in all aspects of the game. No matter what anyone else says, they haven't seen me do it all like that yet. They've only seen a tiny bit of it.
Up next, we'll have Alex Cazoro.
Hey, Tommy. There's a lot of tight ends that can catch, and that's always the focal point. But, obviously you can catch, but you can run block too, and you do a really good job with that. Have you always been that kind of guy, that kind of nasty demeanor, or is there a light that came on? And just as a second question, do you know who you talked to specifically when you met with the Steelers?
So really for that nastiness, I guess I've had that my entire life. I used to be a defensive guy. I tried to give my 100% every time I was on the field. I have to attribute a lot of that to Coach Long and, his hardcore coaching that we got that made me, I had to go 100%. He wanted the best out of everybody on the field, and I tried to give him my best every time, and that carried on really to this year as well. And I really appreciate what he's done for me and what he's really showed me the ropes on what being a real tight end is. And I don't specifically remember exactly where I met with the Steelers. I'm sorry about that, but it was a pretty good meeting.
Up next, we'll go to Timothy O'Malley.
Tommy, how long have you been at full strength after that ankle injury against Alabama? And did you have much of a combine-type specific focus where you want to improve something, 40 time, shuttle time, lifting, anything along those lines?
Mm-hmm. So after that ankle injury, it was a high ankle sprain, and so it took me, I was being cautious with it really for a month and a half, 2 months, just to make sure I don't overextend anything that I don't want to, injure before this pro day or anything like that. And so I've been about full strength for about a month now. I've really excited to try to do everything at the pro day and try to show off that athleticism that a lot of people feel like I have, and which I do. So I'm excited to really show it off during the pro day.
Next question is from Josh Allen with the Bucks Report.
Hey, Tommy, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Just wondering, have you had any communications with the Buccaneers, and who have you leaned on throughout the draft process?
Mm-hmm. So, I did have a small communication with them earlier this month. And really the one person I can lean on throughout this draft was really my parents. There are some people who were supportive of me since I left the house and came to Notre Dame. They've always had my best interest in their sight. And so, talking with them about any questions I had, even talking with old coaches here, they were guys who really helped me really feel comfortable during this process and give me any advice that I needed to really get.
Up next, we'll go to Eric Hanson.
A two-parter for you, Tommy. One is, what effect did John McNulty have on your career, just having coached you a year? The other part is, Coach Kelly has helped a lot of guys kind of map their way back to finish up school. Have you given that any thought at all?
So, Coach McNulty, he was an amazing coach to have this year. I'm so happy he was really our tight end coach. It was great playing with him and having him in our group. And he was a guy who really helped us learn the technical side of football. Any specific receiving aspects, any blocking aspects, he would help us kind of break it down, understand it, and make the game a little slower for us. And so McNulty was a great guy, great coach. I really appreciate everything he did for us as a group as a whole, and gave us someone to really lean on during the season. And back to that, coming back to school with Kelly, really me, from my process, I want to, focus, of course, on making a job, having a job for the next few years. But, of course, it's always come back to get that degree. That's something you come to Notre Dame for, is for that golden degree. And that thing is it's special. And so I really want to be able to come back in the next few years and try to finish that degree and make, my parents happy about that.
Up next, we'll go to Pete Sampson.
Tommy, you mentioned Chip Long a little bit, and I was curious, in your development at Notre Dame, how important was the time at training camp from when Cole Kmet breaks his collarbone to the Louisville game, when you really had kind of drinking through a fire hose at that point? Take me back to that, and then how important was that sort of in your development?
Yes, sir. So going into my sophomore year, didn't play at all my freshman year, And, I was planning to get in the rotation this year or that sophomore year. And when Cole Kmet broke his collarbone, Coach Long was the guy who's like, hey, I've been training you for about a year and a half. This is the second year going into this, and I have faith in what you can do. Even if you don't feel comfortable with it, I'm throwing you in the fire, and I'm going to trust what everything we've worked on this entire year and a half. I trust you enough to be on that field and make plays. And so he was a guy who really had faith in me. And when he threw me in the game, it was one of the best moments of my life. Ended up getting game ball, all that stuff, because he was a guy who really had faith in my abilities, and I really appreciate him for that.
Up next, we have Danilo.
Hey Tom, how are you?
Good. How are you?
From Brazil. I'm fine, man. Well, you're a tight end who has a great blocking game and show it during college season. But what qualities do you know you have that can help the team who picks you?
I think I'm really a guy who has the quality to do more than blocking. A guy who can block in space, on the line, a guy who can be a receiver down field as well. And really, I feel like I said before, as a guy who's as versatile as me, a guy who gets a complete tight end that can do it all. And I'm really excited to show these teams what I can do, especially whatever team gets me. I'm going to give my all. I'm all in for them. You know what I mean?
Going to go next to Andre Robinson.
Andre Robinson, Challenger Community News. Tommy, congratulations on your pro day, my guy.
I appreciate it.
I know you credit your father, Greg Tremble, for your definite physical play, your aggressiveness in the blocking game, the fact that you are really good in multiple aspects as it pertains to different positions, things of that nature. But what do you say to the people who say, well, he's only had limited playing time in college or limited playing production in college, as some people have you at like third round draft level? What do you say to that?
Really, to them, I'd say I'm a guy who was, given his opportunities, gave everything he has. Given more opportunities, I give even more. And so I don't think that really has that big of an impact onto my play. It's something that I pride myself on giving every single rep I have 100%, no matter what it is. And I really say, for people who say that, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's not going to change how I play. It's not going to change how my tape looks. It's going to be something I try to solidify myself as at that next level.
And last question is going to come from Tommy Frank Carr. Go ahead.
Tommy, how do you find that balance as a blocker and a receiver between being physical, being fast, and playing under control? And have you spoken with the Bills?
Yes, sir. I think really that aspect is trying to know when to tempo down, but at the same time, like I said, I'm giving 100% every time. I know when to take that switch to when I have to bury my head into someone and just speed past someone. And so I feel like I know how that switch works a lot better even now. And yes, sir, I have talked to the Bills.
Great, and that's all the time we have. So thank you for joining us, Tommy.
Appreciate you.